hard, right?
Oh,
When you
yes.
don't know what you're wearing. Yeah.
Yep, that looks great. And we're live. Welcome, everybody. We are so excited to have this open panel chat of a discussion just to chat about our experience and our journey. So I'm Melissa Summerbird. I'm the Dimples community leader here, and I'm excited to talk about my journey along with some of my guests. And I'll let you go ahead and introduce yourself. Ashley, you can go first.
Hi, I'm Ashley. I am a Dimples fan for, I guess it's almost, oh my gosh, we're coming up to a year and a half, 2 years now. And yeah, just like you, I'm here to learn and share.
Perfect. And then next we have Michelle. And Michelle is our volume and vibes stylist here who knows the color.
Hi, I'm Michelle. Like she said, volume and vibes educator. And yeah, I'm just here to chat about hair like we do.
Yes,
Nice
and
to
I
meet
see.
you,
I know we're so excited to have Ashley on. She's our special guest today. So we are excited and we thank you from the bottom of our heart to come on and to share your story with our viewers. So thank you so much again for agreeing to come on. Looks like we have Rebecca from Texas. You know, I do have to shout out Texas, Rebecca. I'm from the Houston, Texas area, where that's where I live, not from South Texas. But thank you for joining us today. All right, so let's go ahead and do this topic about our journeys and how we started thinking about putting yourself back in that time when you noticed like things are changing and you started to think about what am I going to do? I remember this. That's mine started when I was about 19. I remember I was doing my hair on the floor, getting ready to go out because, you know, that was the club life. Not anymore, but that was the club life. We were getting ready, and my mom noticed. She was like, I noticed that your hair is thinning. Thanks, Mom. I noticed it too, but I didn't want other people to notice. You know, that's where that point came in my life where I was like, why is my hair thinning? I mean, I had Mariah Carey, curls, big hair. Everyone loved my hair. They would just touch it and all that. And I remember thinking, people put a curse on it because I liked it so much and it fell out. But I remember thinking that I had kids. My hair started getting thinner as I had kids in my 20s. I remember 27, just getting like what's going on here? Like my mom has hair, my dad has hair. Why am I losing my hair? So that's kind of how it started for me. And I used to call myself the headband girl because I was able to hide it with headbands, just push it back. I get dressed and, you know, I love dressing up and picking out outfits and I get dressed. I was all complete. But when it came to my hair, there was like something missing. Like that just put like, I look dressed and I'm good to go, but my hair does not go with what I'm wearing. And I started to, you know, have that self-doubt and started looking. So that's a little bit about mine. I don't want to take up the conversation. So whoever wants to go ahead next can go ahead and start with your journey.
You can go ahead, Ashley. People have heard my story.
It's interesting because you're saying that you don't want to take up too much space, but I think your story is such an important one because it, I think, follows a path that a lot of us have experienced, right? That gradual sort of thinning and being a curly haired girl as well. I really find that one an interesting piece because since I've started sharing on socials, whenever I do mention that I have curly bio hair, and it's often hard to tell based on the pieces that I'm wearing, whenever I bring it up, I get DMs immediately from women who have curly hair. And I wonder if it's a textural thing. Probably like you talk about the big hair, I think we assume from a young age that we have a lot of hair, but it's also just the appearance based on the curls. And when you really start to play with it, to style it, to go out for a night on the town or whatever, that's when it becomes, I think, even more noticeable. So it was when I tried to straighten it and curl it. And you talk about the headbands and oh my goodness, I feel like every girl who's experienced a gradual thinning and not an overnight massive shed can appreciate the headband and how comforting they were. Right? They became
they did. I have a whole bucket full of them still. And you know, I wear them now, but it brings back a little bit of memories. Like that's what I had to have. So they're just they're pretty.
You're right. I have some and you're right. I don't pull them out anymore either. They're such a cute accessory, but I don't think about wanting to go down that road as much, but I still go for the sunglasses on the top of the head, which is another hack as a thin haired girl, right?
Yeah.
You too?
Yeah, oh yeah, for sure, yes. And I buy the sunglasses that don't have the nose tabs, so nothing pulls. Yeah, it's the whole thing. We all have been through that. Yeah, the headbands, the
Absolutely.
glasses, anything to conceal the spot.
And
Right.
the style, the poofy style. Do you remember the poof? I think it might be coming back in a new way because everything comes back, right?
That's right, right?
Right,
Pop
I
it in your
know,
pocket
right?
so you can. Yeah.
And putting all of that stuff on it, that topic. I mean,
Oh yeah.
The walls were. That was actually what
yes.
got me into alternative hair. Was the fear I was wearing so much of the fibers that I started ordering directly from China. I don't know what was going into them. And I looked at my walls, and my husband was like, "Babe, you washed the walls 2 days ago, and they're already covered." And I started to think, like, as funny as it is that it's everywhere, it started to alarm me because I had young children at the time. Postpartum, you talk about the shedding that comes with that. And I thought, oh my gosh, I'm inhaling this. My babies are inhaling this. I mean, they are still helpful. And I think that they have a place. But when you're using that many of them, and
It's
not
so
the
true.
organic and naturally dyed ones, that can become really,
That's
Exactly.
true.
And you know, we sniffed it all of the stuff we were wearing. It's so true. You know,
Yeah.
we get to a point where we don't even think about that because we're just so consumed, like, how can I fix this?
Yeah.
Yes.
Mhm.
Sure.
And it's, I see V is in there. She is saying, like, she had very thick hair until she was 68 and globally lost now. Like, she has no bald spot, but just she doesn't know if she should get a topper yet. Like, even thinking about that, like, do you go straight to a topper or do you go to a wig? A topper is a great way to transition into that. I know when I first started wearing hair, even trying on the topper, I was like, no, I can't do this. I can't believe I'm at this point. You know, you go through that denial at first. So it's nice to be, you start off slowly. You start off with the topper because you're going to experience hair and you're going to be like, this is too much hair, but actually it's not. It's like what you should have. Unless you don't have any to grip in, if you don't have any hair to grip onto, then suggest going straight to a wig. So it's all about you and what feels comfortable. And if you can have some pieces that you can grip onto.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
The gateway.
That's funny. We're all curly girls here. So I don't know. I feel like that it's such a huge part, at least for me, it was such a huge part of my identity. And everybody, like you said, Melissa wanted to do the thing. I had such a difficult time matching up a topper to my curly hair. So I would straighten it to match it up with the topper. And then when I started wearing wigs so that I didn't have to do that, because I was so afraid that and you guys probably experienced this too. I was afraid that when I was over blow drying it and I'm, ripping more of it out. And depending on where I was at with like a shedding cycle, I sound like I'm a bird that's molting. But anyway, yeah, it was a whole thing. So the wig for a while and I still alternate between the two. So yeah, with the curly girl, with a girl with texture, sometimes a wig is helpful. Yeah, for sure.
Yes, mine is really curly. I have like little ringlets. I mean, I have more hair at the bottom and it's ringlets, but I have to work to straighten that. You brought up the flat ironing. I'm probably older than you, but I remember putting my hair on the ironing board and getting the iron and ironing it. That was the thing. I was like, I would get my hair straight. I wanted straight hair so bad. So I did so much bad things to it. Rave straightener. Me and my friends were making our own straighteners at home with the rave perm. We just wouldn't put the curls in, just the solution. Hey, my hair was straight. It looked good for a couple of days.
For a couple of days.
Yeah. Until you get some humidity and then.
Yeah, then it's just back to normal. Then you got to do it again.
Yeah.
So we probably did. It's so true. So tell us what you're wearing. Mine, I'm wearing the Hera 15. So this is what I'm wearing. And mine is nutmeg. I really do like this color. And I always tend to stick with this until I went to the Dimples. We did a photo shoot, and that's how I got involved with Dimples anyway. And James, our CEO, he's like, Melissa, I think you should try a longer piece and go blonde. I was like, I can't do that. I'm always this. This is me. Oh my God. Once you go blonde, you don't go back. I love my blonde piece. I mean, it's true. Blondes have more fun. I've learned that. It's so true.
The magic of wigs, right? You can change it up like that.
Yes, I know.
Yeah.
And you know, and I see the videos that you post, Ashley, and it's like when you come out, I feel like I came out of the closet because it just happened for me in April that I totally came out of the closet and was posting. No one knew. And I was like, you know what? But I was a teacher. And so I was so afraid to change it up in my classroom because my kids would notice when I started wearing. They were like, Miss Oliver, why does it look like you have something right here? Back off. You're too close. You're in my space. Because kids will tell you. So I didn't ever want to change it up when I was a teacher. But then I started getting into the ed tech world when I was presenting. And I was like, I want to feel confident. And you know what? I don't care. I want to be blonde at this conference. I want to be brunette. I want to be short hair. And I'm just going to be that. And I started posting and I've gotten so much love. And they're like, Melissa, we didn't even know. Go for it. And they've kind of built my self-esteem. Like, I realize I'm helping people. And that's what I love.
Mm-hmm.
And I know that you guys can relate too.
For sure. Yeah.
Yeah. And I think it's interesting because the more you help other people, and I know this sounds really cliche and cheesy, but my hope is always when the women who reach out who are struggling kind of find themselves a couple steps ahead, not completely at the other side, because I think it's just like a continuum, but that when they get to a comfortable place that they are able to help someone else at some point, because I think that in the helping and using all that you've learned to bring someone else to the same place, it really is what makes you more comfortable and confident. It was only really, so it's interesting you talk about, putting it out there and now you're like, oh, I'm going to switch it out. And that was kind of the same thing for me. The more that I post, the more that I help other women, the more I'm like, no, this should be normal. We should be able to change these things the way we change our clothing or our makeup, right?
For sure.
Exactly. It's an accessory, right? Just like my glasses are accessory, my hair is an accessory. I even pick out my outfits and then pick out my hair. Like what hair is going to go with this? It is so fun. I was at a Taylor Swift in New Orleans and like me and my daughter were doing like the before Taylor Swift getting ready. And we laid out our outfits and I laid out my hair and my friend's like, you even laid out your hair. Yes, that's right. Because this is the hair that goes with my outfits. So it becomes fun. It's really fun being able to change and owning it. It belongs to you and no one's going to take that away because no one can tell your story except for you. So I think that's what it's helped me.
Yeah. I was really surprised at when I came forward with it and shared it with people openly. I was really surprised at how many people had questions and they were, legitimately interested, or they knew somebody, or they had concerns themselves, so that they were concealing. So yeah, you're right. It makes a big difference when you can share it with other people when you're ready. I get that it's not everybody's path, so it's nice though when you can share it. And it also, and I've said this before, if I'm being honest, I think when I initially came out, it was for myself, and it kind of gave me the power back because I was always thinking about, is somebody looking at my hairline? That was one of the things I thought, can they tell? And then I thought, you know what? I don't want them to think that I'm trying to fool them. I'm going to take that power back and I'm going to be just out with it. And then I never had to worry. And then when people had questions, and if I had the occasion when my wig was slipping back and I was oblivious to it, my friend would be like, hey, you don't want to fix that.
You're right. That's why it's always important to tell your friend that you're with. I would tell them too. Hey, I wear wigs. They're like, what? I was like, so if you see it slipped, like, just tell me.
Yeah. You got my back, Jack, right? Yeah.
Right. Sure. It's so true, Michelle.
Yeah.
How about you, Ashley? How did you, I guess, come out and start telling people?
That's a great question. I'm really pondering as I stumble my way through this. I guess I was pretty upfront with it was COVID. So that helped a lot. I was one of those, there was a group of women and we've all kind of found each other who started during lockdown. That makes things a little bit easier because when we returned to work, it was in an online capacity. So that made it a lot easier. I to date, I haven't talked about it with students, but when I got back to school, so many staff members were like, oh my gosh, your hair. I think some of them, one confessed to me just the other day, she thought I had a hair transplant. So they were trying to figure out what had changed, extensions, color job. And I just blurted out like continuously for that first couple of days. it's a wig. It wasn't, it was a topper, but it's a wig. It's a wig. And finally my principal, she overheard me and she said, you don't have to keep telling people that. No one is even going to know. But I felt like for me, as you're talking about, it's just like owning it and putting it out there. And now I don't have to worry. So yeah.
You're right. It feels like you want to say it. My friends will do the same. Melissa, you don't have to tell anybody. I was like, but they asked, they said they liked my hair. And I would say, oh, it's a wig. Or I bought it. Yeah, it should be good because I bought it. I'll do things like that. And they'll look at me, my friend Chantel's like, Melissa, you wear it so you're concealing your height. I was like, no, I'm not hiding. I want everybody to know they can get fabulous hair because my hair is not fabulous, but this one is. And they can have it too. So it's almost like you're like empowering them. Like everybody could have this. When I create Facebook posts now, like, my family follows me too. And so I will have my family like, oh my gosh, I like that hair. And at first, if they would have done that, I would be like, oh, they noticed, but they do. And I'm like, hey, you could get this one. Did you go to the Dimples website? And then I become like, okay, I'm trying to sell a piece of hair, but not really. I want you just to like, everybody can have this and feel different and fabulous and change your look up just like that.
For sure.
Mm-hmm. I know one thing it does. It makes you look
younger. Are you having
younger.
trouble hearing?
Uh-oh.
Sorry.
Okay.
Did you cut out? She did this.
Oh, yes. I wonder if she did. Well, we'll let her. She was able to fix it a while ago. So, Michelle, tell us about what you're wearing. What you're wearing.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So I'm wearing Athena. So she's I like to say she's a hybrid. So she's a step if you're in a wig, but you have some perimeter hair and you want to be a little cooler in the summer. She's a great option. Melissa also has one and she models it on the website, but it is a lace front. And for people with an intact hairline, it's a great option that you may not have to glue. Both Melissa and I have weak hairlines, and so we both feel like we have to use glue, and we both use water soluble that works for us, which just means that it cleans up really easy to remove from the lace and from your skin. And I don't have to clip it here on the side because I don't have a lot of hair there, so I clip it towards the back, and then I glue it in the front. It's also really easy to put up. It's great for updos. So that's what I'm wearing today. Yeah. So I switch it up. Sometimes I wear a wig and sometimes I wear toppers. But when I wear toppers, I definitely have to work at blending if I don't have a lace front, I have to work on blending the front. Yep. Or wear bangs. Yep.
That's right.
So yeah, that's what it looks like on the inside.
Yeah. She is so fabulous, y'all. If you're wondering, like, what is a topper and how do I wear a topper? Like, we have different sizes. Like, this would be our extra large that we have, but we also have, if you're just starting out, you just need a small base to put on your piece. So maybe you just want a little bit of volume. There are so many options you can choose, but like Michelle and I said, ours is a little bit more progressed. And so we feel comfortable in wearing something that does give you a lot of cover, and it gives me the hair like I should have in high school, like I did have. It's just fabulous. I mean, and that's don't go anywhere without my hair. Mm-hmm.
That's the
this
blonde
is the caramel latte.
Melissa looks great in that.
This is the caramel latte. This is our new color that we have that's available in all. And Ashley, have you seen our caramel latte?
Not in person, but I've been watching it and it is so beautiful. Yeah, I think it's a great, almost like if you want to go a little bit blonder, but you are a nutmeg rooted girl, you and I both are, I feel like you can pull it off. I was out of the chat there for a second. My audio wasn't working, but Alyssa, were you talking about, are you wearing the large base right now? Are you wearing Athena?
Oh, this one is, I'm looking, I came out of the closet, so we're out of the closet. This one is the hair. So this one is the full wig. Mhm. But I kind of customize mine a little bit. Like I add a band or I add like a comb in the end. So you could customize them to kind of mold to your head. And like Michelle and I were talking, did you also know like our Dimples pieces have these adjustable ear tabs as well? That really adjusts like the comfort on that. No, this is the one I'm talking about. This is my Taylor Swift.
Mhm.
She's always going to remind me of the concert. And just because I just love the blondes. So thank you, James, for convincing me to go with this one.
Yeah.
But look, I mean, like instant change. Like, oh
I
my
know.
God.
Doesn't she look great in that?
It's just like
so good.
instant. Oh my God.
You know what I love too is I have to say the texture of Dimples' hair. If you are, I mean, it's going to work for anybody, but if you are someone who had curly hair, and you're used to trying to style it, it has that like fluffier texture, and you can really see it in your piece there. Like you put it on, and it just has. One of the things that my daughter complained about when I first started wearing pieces, little kids can be brutally honest.
Yes, so true.
And she took issue with perfect hair. So if my hair was perfectly styled and it was super sleek and you couldn't even see a return hair, she was like, Mom, no one's hair looks like that.
Oh,
And
honey.
so the one thing that I love about the Dimples pieces, they have the long return hairs, right? Which look to me really like a natural length. And when you put these pieces on and you air dry them, they do have kind of that fluffy texture. And you can see it on all of us right now. It just looks, I don't know. I feel like it has a natural texture, which is nice.
You are so right.
It's so true. Not everybody has perfect hair, but yeah, for sure.
This one is because like so sleek, right? It's just too much.
My daughter had mentioned that because, I wasn't sure what I should wear. I didn't know if I should go with the synthetic at the concert. And so I put on multiple because, I have bought multiple over the years. And so I took a few with me and I was like, Katie, which one should I wear? And she goes, go with that one. It looks more natural. So she said that like about this one, because I was going to go with a short synthetic, it has, holes so I can scratch or breathe because I thought it was going to be hot in the concert. Nope, wasn't hot. And I'm glad I went with her because she's becoming now my go-to. I'm going to need a backup soon, James. So if you're watching, just hear that.
He is watching. He actually posted a few questions. So we've gotten a few questions. I think it came from another, I think maybe Instagram. So I don't know if you saw them pop up. Let me just see really quickly.
Okay.
Did you ever think?
Oh, go ahead.
One of them was, how do you know when you're dating? Like, when's a good time to say, hey, by the way, I'm wearing a wig. So that was one of the questions. So I can start with that. Like, I've been married for a very long time, so I didn't have to do that. But I can imagine it's when you're ready. I'd talk about it when you're ready. You shouldn't have to tell somebody that until you feel like you can trust them and that you're comfortable with it. So these are conversations we often have with people during consultations because people are concerned about sleeping with their wigs on, etc. So yeah, you need to be ready for that. And it's your business when you're ready to talk about it.
And it's scary at the beginning, very scary.
Sure.
When you're coming out. Because I think back to, when I did, I was like, I wouldn't share a room, like a hotel room with any of my teacher friends. I was like, no, I got to have my own because no. And I was thinking like Dolly Parton, she never lets anyone see herself without a wig. I'm just going to live the Dolly Parton life. But that's not me. I'm too open about too much. So I was like, no. So it's like she said, it's up to you.
Yeah. I think also too, it is, oh gosh, it is a thing you got to do in your own time, but I think it is also just so telling about whether the company that you're keeping is the right company for you, right?
True.
Like if you don't accept us as we are, then
that's a really good point. Waste your time, right?
Yeah, I mean, I know it sounds kind of harsh, but that's kind of from where I stand. It's really important. And that isn't limited to someone you're dating, a partner, but friends, whatever, whoever you're surrounding yourself with has to really be supportive and understanding, just as you would be for them. So yeah, it's a good way to root out the bad guys. Just
It's so true. That's so true. Yeah.
So Rebecca has a question. It says, how do I pin my topper to a cork head to hold it as I blow dry?
Yeah. So I don't know about you guys, but depending on the type of topper that I'm working with the cork head, one of the things that, especially if I have lace, I'll use these little holes on the sides of the clips. And one of the things Deborah has said to me, which I was like, of course, she has recommended that we not use these. I don't know if you guys can see that.
Oh,
Sorry.
yeah, I see it.
So don't use these. She recommended, I mean, especially if you have a fine lace, she recommended using a quilting pin. They're just much finer. They're super sharp, you guys. So be very, very careful. I picked myself when I'm in a hurry, but they're really, really sharp. So it's super easy to get your pin through, and you're not creating a hole in your base. So I've watched influencer videos at times, and I've noticed that there's been holes, and I'm guilty of it too in the past because I used a bigger pin. Nobody's going to know but you, but that's where I pin it anyway. So there's other ways to do it.
So try to keep it in that silicone that's on the edge. Is that what you're saying?
I don't use that. I use the little hole on the I use the hole that's actually on the clip.
Oh, okay.
But if you have a wig, there's all kinds of places that you can do it. You don't have to do it here, but just for topper's sake, these tiny little holes. I don't know if I can you, hopefully you can see it right there.
Oh, yes. I see them.
Yeah. So yeah, it's just one way to do it, or just keep it towards the edge. Nothing in the crown. But I've done it. I'm not going to lie. I've totally done it.
also getting yourself, this is not having anything to do with pinning it, but I held back for so long on getting a proper stand.
Oh,
so necessary. I had a tabletop one for a while and it would move around. So investing in and they're not even expensive, but investing in the tools that you need right away saves you so much time, energy, stress, headaches. Like just have it all ready before you start. Because yeah, you want to get in that. Now I don't want to style hair more than once every 6 weeks, right? So it's everyday labor. Now it's like, get out of there. It's not
I know, and on wash day, it's always like, depending on how many you've got to wash and style. So we've all done it.
I know, it's so true.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, one of the other options too is with a wig. Oftentimes, if you put your wig band around the cork, put the wig band around the cork like you would on your head. For those of you who use a wig band, let me see if I have it in the drawer. Just a wig band, and then putting your wig on. So if you are doing a blowout, don't do it when your wig is soaking wet. I just want to say that, when it's almost dry. So if you are doing that, you can put a little bit more grip into it without ripping the wig off the head. So yeah, the wig grip helps that way too.
Nice. I've sometimes put it on when it's got mostly dry, I'll put it on my head and start drying the rest. And it also makes me feel good, like I'm actually blow drying my hair again. So I mean, it helps my self-esteem too.
Yeah,
Did you
see that question? Did you? I know it does.
It's so good.
Yes, it does. It really
and it looks
does.
great. It looks great. I love how when you have it on your head too, you can get your part just the way you want it.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Yeah, for sure.
Yes. Did you see the question? We had a question. Someone had asked, how do I make a wig not look wiggy?
I'll let you guys go on that one first. There's so many different things to do. Depends on the texture, right?
Yeah, I think you're absolutely right on that. Wiggy for so many, it's going to mean different things to different people. And Melissa, you talked earlier about how it can feel like an overwhelming amount of hair to start with. So I think the first and foremost is finding the density that's right for you at that time. And then as you build up, you can go bigger and bigger. I remember putting on hair and going, oh my gosh, it's a lot of hair. And now I'm like, it's perfect amount of hair, right?
Right?
Yeah. So working your way up, I think going, first of all, in that selection, going for a density that works for you. And of course, pieces can always be thinned out. So take it to your stylist, have them cut it into a style that really is true to who you are. So it feels kind of like a seamless transition. And then that goes with color as well. And then my favorite things to do right away are to, put some curl into it the way I like to have curls in it. Put a little bit of extra powder. And not everyone loves the root powder, but I love doing a little bit of eyeshadow or pressed powder on the part line to make it stand out a little bit more. Dimples, of course, has a beautiful extra piece of coverage in there to give it that look naturally, but I like it nice and white because I have a very pale scalp. And I think those are the best pieces of advice for me. And also making sure that it's situated in the right location. My early days of topper wearing, I had my part down here.
Exactly. And then even now you're like, oh, do I have this part right? Let me fix it.
Yes. Yes. Yeah.
Let me pull it up a little bit. Okay, here we go.
Yeah.
It's so true. I love your middle part.
Oh, well, thanks to, thanks to Dimples, because they were the first, I think it was the first time I ever did a center part was with this piece, actually.
Really? I've been contemplating. I've been trying. I'm like, I cannot be. It does, right? I've tried the middle. I'm not a middle part girl. I have tried it. It looks so good on you.
I bet you would look great on you. I think it would look great. I felt the same way, though. What about you? What are your favorites for quickly making a change so it doesn't feel so wiggy?
Dry shampoo. I've used that. And to put that, and then I didn't bring it, but I checked out this new, it's called Style on Steroids by Hair Wow. Oh my gosh, I love it. I mean, of course, it's one of those TikTok things that came and everybody's hair looks fabulous, but I tried it and it works. It gives you volume and it takes some of that shine out. I absolutely love it. And they recommend using that instead of hairspray because it gives you that texture. But that's what I used on here. And I can see like this one looks, I mean, she could grow out my hair if it worked, but it looks so natural, I love it. Like, I think it's called Style on Steroids is what it is by Color Wow. I love it. Let's see. We have some questions that came through. Let's see. When dating, we did that one. When is it? Let's look at this one right here. Rebecca says, also, maybe not. Let's try it again. Whoops. She says, also, if I want to dye the root darker, do I put so we don't stain the lace? Oh, Michelle's our color person.
Yeah. So it depends. So you want to be really careful with that. So there's a couple of, so if it's a lace front that you're working with or a mono top, and it's not one of our French tops, it all depends. But if it is, let's say it's a French, so it's not silk, but that's what people often refer to it as a silk top. You want to make sure that you either take it to a stylist and they're using professional color, because your chances of staining it are less. But there's a way that they use, oftentimes they use gel on the inside of the cap and they dry it and it protects the knots, and they go in very carefully and they make sure not to touch the silk. So it's a whole process. But if you are talking about knots, you just want to try to stay off the knots, especially if you're going with a color that, it depends on what color I'm assuming you're not lightening it, because that's a whole nother thing. And we don't recommend that you do that, but without a stylist's help. So if you're coloring it the same or you're toning it and it's the same color, you shouldn't have an issue with that. You shouldn't have it, but always use professional color or seek guidance from a cosmetologist that can help you with that. Yep. And I know it's difficult to sometimes find people that are willing to do that work. So you can always reach out to one of us and we'll help try to connect you with somebody that we have either worked with ourselves, or we can connect you with Deborah, who does custom coloring work. But we do have some consumer reviews on, and that's what we'll tell you if that's the case. It's consumer recommended stylists that have done work for individual customers that we can send you to. Yeah.
It's so great that you guys offer so much support, like after purchase, and that's amazing.
Yeah. Yeah. I know, I wish I knew about Dimples when I was starting out, right? I wish. Yeah. It can be so scary.
It is. Mitch has a question. I'm suddenly having so much hair fall. Should I be alarmed? How will we answer that?
I would say it's definitely something you want to address with your doctor, first and foremost, because there could be so many different reasons. I think for all of us here right now, it was probably a combination of things, which it often is. But if it's a big shed and it's your first time having a shed like that, I would definitely seek professional advice.
Yes.
Yeah.
Just so they can have you
I went in when I was 22. I think I was 20 to my dermatologist to figure out maybe 2021. And he told me it was female pattern baldness and just take biotin and Rogaine. And so I did that for years. I was like, this biotin is not working. This Rogaine is spending $20 a month and nothing is happening. So it just became something I live with. But yes, definitely, like she said, go to your doctor and they will tell you. Mine didn't tell me it was a lost cause. He told me to try this. But it was.
Right.
You know, it's interesting. I went to see a dermatologist and she told me she was really cold and really rude and really mean. And she just told me, well, yours is the worst case I've seen for your age. And you should probably look into prosthetics. And that was the end of it. And I went home crying. Can you imagine now that I'm so happy I have wigs? Like, to imagine that I was once so terrified and sad that that was my option. And now I'm like, I get to wear wigs. So embracing it is definitely part of it. But yeah.
Yeah. You're like, thanks for the pep talk. Thanks for the guidance. I've been seeing a dermatologist for years, and while he's lovely, he's completely bald. He has a really great head. God love him. But he was like, he's like, I don't know if I'm the person. He was kind of funny about it. But then he said, but I have some autoimmune stuff. He talked to me a little bit about that and how that contributes. So to answer your question, Mitch, too, I mean, definitely see your doctor, because there's so many different things, from your thyroid to autoimmune, or there's things that none of us are aware of. It could be a food thing. I mean, I've heard so many different stories that people found out, oh, it's this or it's that. Stress also wreaks havoc on all of us in different ways. So for sure, check that stuff out. Okay, so how far back do you guys wear your wig or set it from your hairline?
Well, I know everyone is different. I have a big forehead, so if I could bring mine up a little bit so my forehead is not so big, I do that. I guess my hairline, if my hairline is, see, even further, if I, no, that's too much of forehead. So I bring it up a little bit, look, and then it makes it look normal on me. So it all depends on what you're comfortable with and where you feel. But you do want to, I mean, because if you bring it too forward, I mean, no.
Stop that. So
yes.
They say there's like a 4-finger rule, but I was taking like a video of yourself in it, because I always find if I jump on stories, sometimes like I'm throwing my wig on in the car, girls. I don't know about you, but I'm running out the door with my kids, their backpacks, and then I have a wig in my hand. I throw it on, and then I jump on when my husband's driving. We work together, and I'll put on a story, and I'll watch the story back for a second and go, oh my gosh, the wig is all the way back here. Like just a quick video check is helpful, looking in the mirror, whatever. But
I couldn't agree more. I couldn't agree more. I'm so glad you brought that up. Taking pictures of clients before, because you know exactly what we've talked about, where it feels like so much hair at first, etc. Taking that picture, the before, the after, and the whole transition. It's so interesting how, I don't know if I'd call it like our psyche, what we see in the mirror is so different than how other people perceive us. And something about looking at a photo or a video is so reassuring. I have found it extremely helpful with people. I had one lady really quickly that I cut a wig in for her, and she kept saying it was good to remind her what it started out looking at. And then when we showed her the picture, the short version of this is she was like, that's so weird. That's not what I'm seeing. That's not what I'm seeing. I said, I know, I get it. I completely get it. So that's great advice, taking a story or a picture. Yeah, for sure. Yeah. I use 4 fingers because my hairline has receded so far back, like Melissa, and mine's glued down right now. But like Melissa, if I
Yeah, that's good. That's good. That works. I'll do that. That means my hairline is more than 4 fingers. Look at that. No, we're not showing that.
Yeah. Okay,
Oh
so
God.
let's see if we have another question here.
Any tricks on hiding the transition? What did we do back in the day? Think about when you first started. I guess, are you thinking about when you first started wearing, or just as you're putting that on?
Yeah. Could we get clarification maybe?
Yeah.
I'm assuming it might be I'm thinking the transition between, like, if we're going topper or wig, just if you're blending your own bio hair. Is that what we're?
Maybe.
Yeah. Yes. It
No.
also works. Well,
Yes
toppers.
and no.
Yeah. Yeah. I think we probably wear toppers to see. We're all like, no.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay,
Let me put on my
You go
topper.
first.
My topper does not work on the 4 finger. Let me see.
No.
Because this one, I feel like I do have a little bit of more bigger headspace, because she goes up a little higher, my Athena, because I do line her. Well, no, we're not going there. No, I can still do it. She's pretty. Oh my gosh, she's such a pretty color. This caramel latte. I do like wearing toppers. I'm from Texas, and it's still hot. I mean, it was 91 the other day, and so toppers are great. Yes, 91. And so toppers, because it's like summertime in Texas all the time, and so toppers are great because you don't get as hot. You don't get as hot,
It's
and you can pull your hair up.
52 in Maine.
Oh my gosh!
It's
I want to
52.
go visit you. Oh my goodness! No, Texas, it's summertime all year round. So
I won't even.
Guys,
We had snow.
You had snow?
There were snowflakes on the weekend. It's warmer today. I'm in Canada.
Oh my!
That's a stereotype.
Oh
but,
wow!
I'm actually.
So
we're not far from you, though. I was in Maine this summer. It's a quick drive, just a few hours.
I was just going to say you're probably not far from me then, right? Okay, that's great.
Look at that! I want to go see. What did I tell you? What are those called? Lighthouses.
Lighthouse.
Like I always. Yes, we don't have that in Texas. I think. Well, there might be one, but yeah. Oh, how do you store your hair? Well, I'm invested in these. So if you see my hair is stored, I bought this, okay, I might have been a little extra, but I have this whole wig stand where I can put all my hair. So that's how I store. And the ones that I keep downstairs in my closet, I have different headpieces, and even the plastic ones. Did any of y'all have the plastic ones that you could take? I take these for travel, and they fold up easily. Those work as well. And you can get those on Amazon, and you just attach them together. They're 2 separate pieces, but those work as well. And if you're traveling, I always put in a silk bag to travel whenever I do travel with my pieces too. Because I always take a backup. I don't know about y'all. Do y'all take a backup?
Yes.
Yes.
I got to tell you the craziest trick that I learned yesterday from another wig sister, and I haven't tried it yet, but I had my first in-person meeting with someone I met online. It was very cool. And she told me that when she travels, she curls the piece in advance, and then she puts it in a Ziploc bag, vacuum seals it basically. And when she takes them out of her, this is Brie from Bijou, and when she takes them out, they're ready to go. And they still smell great.
Oh my goodness.
And I was like, really? Like, for some reason, the plastic bag idea was crazy to me. She goes, yeah, I don't do the silk bags anymore. And I felt, it took me a minute because I've been ride or die for the silk bags, right? Like, I but she swears by it. So I'm going to have to try it. And it makes perfect sense, especially like you're putting your pieces in carry-on. So once they're kind of, the air is removed, they're vacuum sealed, they can't get tousled around. You don't have to worry about smells from other people's stuff or whatever's in the overhead compartment. It's actually
Yeah.
I didn't even think about that. I'm
I
gonna
can't
try
wait
that.
I'm going to try that when we go on our trip. I'm going to definitely try that.
Oh my
Thank you
gosh,
for
I'm
that.
going to. That is nice. I'm going out of town next week, so I am going to try that. I'm taking
Yes, that's great.
I'm going to take this one and my hair with me, and I'll decide.
As far as the way that I store them, you've got to, I was just
Sorry,
going to
I'll
say,
let you go.
Steve, what
I
is
use
that?
little, I was going to say, I use little totes, or boxes. If they come in a box, I put them in the box. But if there's styles that I use a lot, I have like a little wig stand, that it's a makeshift wig stand that I put mannequin heads on. Because being
What do
a
you mean by tote?
cosmetologist, I have scary heads everywhere. My nephews call it the scary room. When they go by, they're like, ooh, the scary room. Ooh, yeah. So yes. But totes, like little like shoe boxes, right? Can you show what you have right there?
Oh yeah,
Ashley?
maybe we're thinking the same thing. It's
Yeah.
just it's a bin from the dollar store.
Yes.
So I don't do this all the time, not for my super beautiful pieces that I'm worried about keeping the style in. For those, I have, I'll put them in the box as you say, or if I want to be able to grab it quickly, I have command hooks on the wall with styrofoam balls attached to them. I heard tennis balls work better though; they're better for grip. And then I just hang my pieces that way on the wall of my closet. But for things that are more like my hat wigs or just things that maybe I don't use as often, but I want to have room for them to spread out and not smush them into a tinier box, I put them in these larger totes, and then I can tuck them away. They can go under a bed or pile up nicely on top of each other.
Mm-hmm. And you can see through them.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. But is that what you're talking about for totes? What are you using?
Yeah, it's the same thing. Same thing. I just and it is things that I'm not actively using, on a regular basis, because the ones that my go-tos, those girls are hanging out.
Yep. They sure are. But then you forget about the ones that you put in the box, because that's what I did. I was like, oh, I haven't worn her in a while. Let's try her out. Because I forget about them, because all my bad mistakes, because when you're like, oh, I should try that one, that one's going to look beautiful on me, you get it, you're like, this is not for me, but maybe it'll work, I'll just keep it. I've fallen into that trap a lot, and that's why I have so many.
But then when you pull them out,
I know it feels fresh, and you're like, let me try this again. And
we used to do that with kids' toys. It's the same thing for us. It's like Christmas all over again.
Yes, exactly. Let's see. Oh, so someone says they wear a Clio topper. Have you ever tried working out in one? Oh, that is a big concern. I was going to join a gym. I mean, I don't work out. I should work out. I mean, I have an elliptical in my room, but I just don't. I'm bad. But I thought about joining a gym, and I was nervous about that too. And I was like, you know what? I'm just going to wear a baseball cap. Like, I don't want my nice pieces to get sweaty, and then I have to wash them, unless you find one that's just going to be your workout wig and you wear that one all the time. I don't know. What do you think, ladies?
Go ahead.
Don't
Ashley.
work out. Nobody works out.
No, I do. I work at it. We have a home gym, and so I don't do anything. I wear my husband's old t-shirt. I'm the worst. I have no cute outfits. I wear my husband's old t-shirts and my bio hair. But when I did work out at the gym, like you, baseball hat, I have used an old topper as a piece for more, like if I was going out for a hike or something like that. And that worked really well. And even if you want to add hair that way to your baseball hat, if you're feeling like your little ponytail is small, as one of your toppers becomes older, you retire it, or it needs a color job, and you just feel like, you know what, I'm just going to use it for this purpose now. That's kind of a nice way to get more life out of it, even if the hair's starting to go.
I agree. And I'll confess, I'm not working out. And I should be. I feel like I'm in a meeting about not working out right now. No, I am not working out. And if my room had an elliptical in it, it probably would have wigs hanging off it. I'm just being honest.
It's starting to have my jackets hanging on. I was like, John, we could take this out into your shed now. I need wig room.
Yeah. So, but I agree. And I'm a baseball hat girl. On a day off, I have a huge collection. Well, Melissa, you've seen me in my baseball hats. Yeah. So yeah, I love a good baseball hat, but I agree. If you have an old topper, if you want, because I'm really thin on the sides, And for the most part, I don't think about it too much. But if I'm going someplace and I want to conceal that, I would wear an old topper underneath. And a synthetic is a good option to have for that, especially because if it's a topper that you care about, you definitely don't want to be doing this because it's inevitable. You're going to pull hairs out because that's a lot of pressure being put on it. But if it's an old topper and you're not concerned about the top, then go for it.
Okay, I have a hack that you just made me think of that I forgot about. I used to do this before I started wearing wigs. And I was wearing toppers. So 2 things that you can do if you do really want to wear the topper and you're worried about damaging it, but you want to wear it out to the gym or to do something active, is getting a really wide headband. My favorite one you can buy on Amazon. And they can go really wide where they almost cover your whole head, or you can kind of fold them over. And there's 2 ways that I feel like you can wear this kind of successfully. So that is to just go a little bit further back, right? So you don't have to worry about pulling it down. So go a little further back, flip your own bio hair over top, and then work it into a ponytail, and then use the wide headband to conceal. The second way, and when I showed this on an Instagram reel, people were sending me so many messages because I don't think they had seen it before, but I sometimes instead will flip my head upside down and then put my topper, same idea, same principle, put my topper backwards. So instead of wearing it from the front, I'm pinning it down here. And then I take my own bio hair and fold it over top and do a high ponytail. So there's no pressurizing at the topper. You don't have to worry about that. And then you just, again, wear the wide headband and it can conceal everything. So if that's something
a great idea.
She wants to talk about, I'd happily give her a demonstration of it. I don't have anything handy right now. I hid in a closet where my family, they're doing pumpkin carving. But that's something I'd be happy to demonstrate at some point.
That's cool. I'd love to see it. I'm like, yeah, I want to see what you're talking about.
Exactly. So that leads into our next question. We had a question: how do you wear hair when it's cold and you need to wear a scarf and a hat? And Michelle, you just you talked about it. Find a piece that it's okay to get damaged, because you said wearing a hat all the time will pull some of those pieces out, those hair.
Yeah. If it's a baseball hat, as you guys know, a baseball hat, there's pressure right here, right? So you're pulling on those knots. But I will say that I have loose, living in Maine, I have loose knit caps that aren't putting any pressure, right? So I am not here to tell you I never wear a hat with my topper. There's plenty of pictures out there of me doing that, but there's not, it has a looser band, right? It's a looser band around it. It's not putting pressure on my knots. It's nothing like that. So I wear a hat. I just make sure that it's not tight, right? It's just enough to conceal. How do you do, Ashley? Well, and I know that Missy, you in Texas are not wearing a wool cap. I know that.
No, I bought a cute trucker hat that I want to wear, but I was wondering the same things, like, why am I wearing a wig and then a hat on? But the trucker hats, that you could get monogrammed with all the big bedazzled. I bought one and I want to wear it so bad, but that was my thought too. I was like, am I going to damage? It should just be a pull hat. My husband's like, that is too nice for you to just go in the pool. So I've been wondering about that too.
Well, I think the way that those ones fit too, the trucker hats, I think are inherently bigger and looser at the front, aren't they? Yeah. So probably a little bit. So the thing is it seems crazy to wear hair with a hat, whether it's a toque or a baseball cap. We just need to get you up here to wear a toque with us. But I actually think it looks so much better when you do. Like it's, we've been wearing hats for so many years to conceal our thinning that it's kind of like the headband. If you just put them away and you don't pull them back out anymore, like you're missing that thing that, can really add to an outfit or whatever.
You're
so
right.
I think it looks great when you have the big hair underneath the toque. That's just, it feels good.
Yeah. I'll wear the cute bedazzled ones when I do my teacher conferences, because you could just set it on top. It's the actual pulling back. That's how I used to wear my headbands. You just pull your hair back and it'd just be like all flat and it's all back. So yeah, those I don't gravitate to. The cute ones with all the beaded that you just sat on top, those are perfect.
But you could do your headband that way. And that is something that I also did at the very beginning of toppers, and I haven't done since because I've put the headbands away, is just pinning your topper a little bit further back. I'm someone who wears my topper. I hate blending. And so I will often wear my topper right to the front.
Yep.
Which I know is not advised, but if you wear it a bit further back and then you flip the bio hair over top and you use some fibers, you can conceal that thinning at the front and still wear the headband that's with the slick back look and get the hair right off your face.
Yep, I agree. And I bring, especially if it is a French top or a silk top, depends on, that's what we call our silk top is French. But if you are wearing them, in my opinion, it looks best if you get it as close as possible and you just have the tiniest bit of hair and then you blend it. And what she's saying about using your hair and flipping it back with the band, that looks great. I think that's perfect. Yeah, but I bring it right to the front too. I don't leave it. Well, number one, the topper wouldn't be doing me much good because that's where my balding is. So it would be like, oh, poor thing. Why doesn't she pull that forward? Yeah.
And my hair's curly too. And even to straighten that, it's like coarse and it just like wants to go straight because it's curly. Like the hair that I do have doesn't blend. Like you see some people, they're able to blend and it's long. No, that's not this one. Oh goodness. We had some really great questions tonight. I'm so excited to be on with you ladies and to answer and help other people who are going through the same thing that we are. This was amazing to be able to share our stories on here tonight. Do we have any other questions? We've got a few more minutes, but it looks like we're about to wrap up our live stream today. So we'll just hang out. Anything else, I guess, words of wisdom that you want to share with anybody? Have a words of wisdom?
Reach out to somebody. Reach out to people who are asking questions tonight. That's so great. If you're not comfortable doing that, you can post a comment, but send a direct message. But just reach out. Don't do it on your own. I feel like so many of us who are now in the education space did because we felt like there wasn't anybody around, but there are so many women who are happy to share and happy to help, and just get out to a meetup if there's one. Just put yourself out there a little bit by bit, small steps.
Yes. And Ashley, where can people connect with you at?
Oh, I am probably best found on Instagram, Life Beyond Locks, but I'm also on YouTube. I think we're on YouTube right now as well. Are we?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So I'm on YouTube as well. Yeah.
Perfect.
And what is it that you're wearing again, Ashley? Sorry, Melissa.
No, go ahead.
I'm matching Melissa. I'm in the longer version of Hera, so I'm wearing the 19 in nutmeg rooted as well.
It's such a popular color.
Yes. It works for so many people for so many reasons, right? There, you've got the dimensional tones. It's not quite a bronze, but it almost is, right? Like you could wear this if you're darker color.
Sure.
In bio hair, I have my bow hair is actually quite a bit darker than this, but then you can also, if you're, blonde and you want to get into those darker tones, especially for the fall, this is such a pretty fall color. You've got the warmth in there too. And
yeah, I love it. It looks really good.
Exactly. Well, thank you so much for joining us tonight, everyone. We'll look forward to seeing you in a few weeks. We try to do these lives about twice a month. So keep an eye out for our, follow us on socials. You'll find us on Instagram, on all of them, on Facebook, on TikTok. We've even started activating our TikTok usage. I love the TikTok world, if I'm honest. So thank you so much for being with us tonight, and reach out, like we said, if you have any questions. We're here to support you. Oh, is here a question? Do you wash your typer right? Oh, here are experts. Is that a question or is that just a banner coming through? Okay, thank you all. Oh, let me end this.
So nice to meet you, Ashley.
Likewise. Yes. Thank you so much for having